Hi, I'm Sam Johnson and I am a voice teacher. You can learn more about me or book a lesson by going to my website, vocalease.net. I'm going to be reacting to and analyzing this compilation of famous singers' worst versus best live vocals. My goal from this is that I can help you understand why the worst was the worst and why the best was the best, what they changed between the two. Maybe that was a little pulled. That wasn't that bad. Yeah, that's got a lot more ring to it. This is silly. I mean, she changed it. She didn't sing it back to back, but what she did there was she had a lot more over the top kind of nasal presence in it. It was a little bit more ring, where the first one was a little bit heavier and chesty and kind of difficult to sustain. Killer. So on Memory, she started by saying ma really, really wide. She does that because it helps her pull her chest voice up to a note that's very high. Usually chest voice kind of stops at a point, and there are different things that we need to do to allow it to go higher, such as open your mouth really, really wide. The problem is by pulling the chest voice up a certain point, it just doesn't want to continue. It doesn't work very well. And so when she comes back down and she's not pushing into it, that's when the crack happens, because there was a little bit of dysfunction, a lot of tension, and then it relaxes and the chords don't know what to do with it, so they crack. Take me by the hand, we do. That was actually not bad, the one. Give me a memory that I can use. So she's still pulling up quite a bit of chest voice, but this is actually a lot better. There's a lot more mix in it, which allows the high notes to happen and have quite a bit of presence and strength without being pulled, without being yelled. Take me by the hand. Much more consistent. Also, when she went to the softer part there, she didn't let go as much. It wasn't like, here's a big thing and then I'm letting go. It was, here's a big thing and I'm hanging on a little bit as I come back down. So the vocal cords were able to hold on through that part.
Say no, but you don't really want to go. Oh, you're hot, then you're cold. Yeah, yes, then you're no.
She just sounds out of breath.
Then you're out. You're up, then you're down. You don't really want to say no, but you don't really want to go. Oh.
First one, she was shouting. She was pulling chest voice up the whole way through and didn't have any control over her dynamics. It was just yelling it. This one, it's much more controlled. Her mouth shape is so much closer to how she speaks. Because of that, she has a lot more control over her volume and everything. So she's not out of breath because she's not just wasting all of this air. She's using her air a lot better because it's being resisted by her vocal folds better and going into a better vowel.
You're hot, then you're cold. Yes, then you're no. You're in, then you're out. You're up, then you're down.
And she didn't have to try it all for either of those. Yeah. She wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. It's not hard because she didn't make it hard for herself.
Go on and try it, tear me down.
I like that.
I will be rising from the ground like a skyscraper.
She has a lot of forward ring still.
Go on and try it, tear me down. I will be rising
Nice.
from the ground like a skyscraper.
Okay, they're very similar. The first one, she used very similar vowels for both, but the first one, she was just pushing a little bit too much. So there was a little bit of extra air and that made it a little unstable, but it was still small. It was still thin. Her chords still stretched out. It's just, it was a little bit high pressure. I actually didn't hate it though. The second one, she just backed off. She let the mic do the work rather than trying to do the work herself.
Who says you're not presidential? Who says you can't be in a movie? Listen to me. Who says you don't pass the test? Who says you can't be the best? Who said?
Was she sick or
Won't you
something?
tell me who said that? Yeah.
She wasn't singing badly.
Says you're not presidential.
Yeah, she just sounds
Says
healthier
you
for some
can't be
reason.
in
And she
movies.
doesn't, she's not really doing anything
Listen
different.
to me. Who says you don't pass the test? Who says you can't be the best? Who said? Who said? Won't you tell me who said that? Yeah.
Ooh, fake and fake. Yeah.
Good. She's moving in both videos. She wasn't singing badly in the first one because she was dancing. You can sing and dance at the same time if you know what you're doing. The first one didn't work very well because it was not balanced. Her air, muscle, and vowels were not working together as a whole package. Her vowels were kind of shouty. Her airflow was inconsistent. So maybe that was from the dancing that it became inconsistent. But I mean, she's moving in this second one and it's not inconsistent. And her vocal cords were not stretching very well. They were beefy all the way through. They were trying to pull up too much weight. It just became inconsistent because of that. In the second one, she just seems so much more relaxed. It's just a little bit of air going through her vocal cords and then a pretty decent vowel. It's not a bad vowel for her. It's a little tense, but this is not bad. Cool, so he went up at the end. Like, he was fine on both of them.
The next day bother you, I
Tense.
all that matters to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ain't worried about nobody else. If I ain't with you, I'm with myself. You make me complete. But the next day boss tell you why you're all that matters to me. Yeah. Ain't worried about nobody else. If I ain't with you, I'm with myself. You make me complete.
The first one, he was just tense through that, and so it was a little bit more pressure. He was lifting his chin in both of them, which is one way to kind of help raise chest voice up higher, but he was singing high enough that he was mixing. He was going up to like a B flat. I think that the first one, he was just tense and it threw everything off a little bit. The second one, he looked so much more relaxed. Just having that physical difference is enough to make a pretty noticeable difference in the sound. And then as the song goes on, that tension just stacks. So if you start like this, then after the first verse, you're here, and then the second, and then you're like so tense if you've been spending all the time there. The second one, he was just more relaxed. This is impossible to hear. Was she, I think she was lip syncing. I don't know. Tell me if I was wrong. I don't know what went wrong with that last one. I don't think it was her voice. I feel like it was something else. I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know the situation, but that last clip was very confusing.
I'm gonna play like a bird through the night. Feel my tears as they dry. Down what is sweet from the chandelier. It's all so we can sing if we want to. In my mouth I can say what I want to say. Yeah.
It's our song, we can sing if we want to. It's my mouth, I can say what I want to. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nice, really rough, aggressive mix at the top there. This one's just more smooth all the way through. The first one felt like it was being broken up, whether by dancing or because the way that she was saying it was just a little bit more staccato. But what she did there, the phrases felt longer, the airflow was able to stay more consistent, and so the result was a smoother sound. And then when she went to the really high stuff, to the A flat, she added a little bit of distortion. I think she could have done it smooth. She would have just not leaned into it quite as hard.
So make my wish come true.
Oh my gosh, this is the
It's
worst.
baby all I want for Christmas is you. You. Make my wish come true. Oh baby, all I want for Christmas is you.
So good. So I've heard rumors for the first one that it was because of pregnancy. Just the hormones through it affected her voice in a way that made it thicker, and she was trying to sing the way that she used to, and it just didn't work. That's one of the saddest recordings I've ever seen, just seeing someone who is so great at singing and has been such a hero for people doing what she did in that video. That's a hard one because the clips are so far apart. You can't tell what has changed in her body physically since then, because pregnancy will change you. Growing older will change you. Do I think that it's exclusively that? No. I think if she was consistently studying with someone and checking in, making sure that she was vocalizing well, that it probably wouldn't have affected her quite as much. And I'm not sure what she was doing, or if she had professional lessons in that time. I don't know. Another thing is that everyone just has a bad day sometimes, but that is not a thing that happens just because you're having a bad day. That is the result of a significant physical change and changing your technique so far that it's just not trustable. You can't trust a single thing coming out of your mouth. And it's sad. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below of anything that you have questions about or any songs that you'd like me to do in the future. Thank you.